Solopreneurs, pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you. Most of you are still stuck at one price, one offer, and one income ceiling. And any moment you try to raise your rates, you're going to be hit by the resistance from your clients. And in most cases, this resistance is coming from the point of fear, from the point of you lacking the confidence in what it is that you're trying to price. But why is it even the case? The reason is simple. You never build yourself pricing tiers. Your pricing architecture that lets you serve different levels of buyers without discounting, without overworking, and most of it all without you feeling guilty. So in today's video, I'm going to break down a system that is going to help you jump from one offer to scalable revenue. So let's get started. But before we get into that, I want us to first look at the most important trap that none of you gets to be warned about. If you get to scale one offer at one price, then that one specific offer is going to attract only one type of buyer. Yet in reality, your market has three different types of buyers, with each having a different level of urgency, different level of goals, and different levels of their willingness to invest. So the fact that you get to scale one type of offer or one type of price, it means that you're going to force each and every buyer in the market to come under one basket, which is going to end up making you lose money every week that gets to come in, or every month that gets to come in. And that's where the power tires get to come into play. Another question is, what do power tires mean? So when one speaks of power tires, basically they're trying to mean a stack of different pricing tiers that are built around to serve you as a buyer. These are based on different buyer intensities, different buyer outcomes, different buyer level of access, different buyer delivery models, and not this crap of just subscribe to gold, bronze, or silver. So remember earlier on I mentioned about your market having three different types of buyers. So let's go ahead and look at each of them in detail. Starting off with one, we have DIY buyers. With DIY buyers, all they want is knowledge more than support. For them, they don't need you in whatever it is that they do. All they need to have is clarity. That is one type of buyer. So the second type of buyer is guided buyer. So these want you to be in their corner every time they're trying to work on the task that they have at hand. Because to them, they want to have a stack of structure and value checklist that you'll be giving them along the way as you guide them to their final destination. And then lastly are the ROI buyers, or the return on investment buyers. So to these ones, they want more of speed, precision, and the outcomes. Their focus is on what it is that do I get at the end of working with such a person. What is it that do I get at the end of me purchasing this kind of item? If it is a course, what is it that I'm getting? If it is a coaching session, what is it that I'm getting? Am I getting there faster? That is speed. Am I being precise with whatever it is that I'm getting? That is precision and outcome. Am I really guaranteed of the outcomes? How long is it going to take me to get that outcome? So to these ones, they care more about speed, time, and their rate, their returns on the investment of whatever it is that they invest in, whether it is time, whether it is money, or whether it is resources. So given that we have these three types of buyers in the market, any moment you get to choose on focusing on only just one type of buyer, be it DIY buyer, be it guided buyer, be it ROI buyer, you're going to leave 60 to 70% of the revenue on the table. And that is something you wouldn't want as a solopreneur. So in case you want to replicate a model that is going to help you get to deal with different types of buyers, here is one for you. I call it the power tire pyramid model. So this is how it looks like. At the base, you focus on providing clarity. In the middle, you get to focus on providing confidence. And then at the top, you get to focus on transformation. Here's what it means and how the different types of buyers get to fit into this model. At the base level, where there is clarity, here's where people get to buy your tools and information. So it means at this level is where we get the DIY buyers. So remember we said that with this type of buyers, all they want to do is acquire knowledge without you even being involved in their whole process. For them, they care more about clarity. And that is why they specifically get to fit at the base of the pyramid, where we get to provide clarity. An example of the tools and information that they might buy is they want to have maybe self-care courses, and sometimes they all want to have self-care toolkits, like pricing computers, pricing courses, like anything that doesn't get to involve you, the person who sells them the service. That is all that they need, and hence being at the base of the pyramid. At the second level or the upper level of the pyramid, where we get to provide confidence, we said these are the type of buyers that get to buy confidence. And when you look back to the three types of buyers in the market, everyone's market, we saw this is the level where we get guided buyers. Yeah, because for them, they want you to be in the corner while they're trying to execute onto certain things. So to them, they're trying to buy checklists. They want to buy hybrid coaching, yeah, like do it with you kind of courses. Yeah, so they don't want to go through the process alone. They want you to be around the corner next to them, giving them checklists, guiding them on what it is that they should do, like providing a clean structure of what it is they have to follow. And when they get to do that, you help them build the confidence in them, because when they are alone, they lack confidence. But when they're with someone else, they build the confidence that they need. And then lastly, at the top of the pyramid is our ROI buyers, that is return on investment kind of buyers. And we said to these ones, they care more about speed, precision, and the outcome. So whatever it is that they get to buy is they buy it because they want to have that quick impact. They buy it because they want to attain results faster. They buy it because whatever kind of results they want it to be in the very shorter lifespan. So what it is that these guys get to buy? They get to buy done for you kind of offers. And in most cases, because they don't want to be in a whole group of things that is going to take a lot of time, they usually get to buy one-on-one consultations. Yeah? Because these ones, they are guaranteed of fast impact response feedback from you, the seller, let's say you're a guiding coach, from you, the coach, and them, so that they get to execute faster. So now a question might come up. Yeah, now you've shown me the power tire pyramid, but how do I get to build my own? So here's a simple framework process that I want you to take into account if you really want to build your own power tire pyramid. And to do that, there is an acronym I always like to use. It is called the DAWT. Yeah, that is DDAWT. So let's get to break this down into detail. The first D gets to represent the fact that you get to define one outcome across all tires. Your tires should get to offer the same transformation delivered across different levels of support. That is what the first D gets to represent. Yeah? So, same offer at different levels of support. So let me give you a specific example of how it would look like. Yeah, let me take my own example. My general outcome or my general offer is to get to price with confidence, clarity, and control. So if I have three different types of tires, at tire one, I would say that is where you're going to get to learn how to price with clarity, confidence, and control. Then at tire two, that is where you're going to implement all the means that are going to give you the powers to understand how to price with confidence, clarity, and then control. And then finally, with tire three, that is why you're going to master everything together along with me on how you get to price with confidence, clarity, and control. So now you see that I have one same offer, that is pricing with confidence, clarity, and control across all three tires, but every tire has a different level of support. With tire one, remember, I give you the information, that is you're basically learning it. Then at tire two, then you're implementing the process. And then finally at tire three, you're getting to master it with me. Same offer, different levels of support. Up next is the D, which is get to decide your delivery model. And this should be for each and every tire that you get to have as a business owner, or that you get to have as a solopreneur. And when we speak of delivery model, all we're speaking of is either you're delivering in terms of access level, time investment, or time that gets to be involved in that same very tire, and the tools that are going to be implemented in different levels of tires. So I'm going to give you an example again. Using my general output as an example, which is pricing with clarity, confidence, and control. When it comes to D, where you get to decide your delivery model, how I would do it is, so with this one, when it comes to tire one, all I would say, there are no calls, and all you're going to get is tools. That is it. And when it comes to tire two, all I will say, we are going to have weekly calls accompanied with tools templates, and swipe files. So that will be tier 2. With tier 3, I'll say I'll be there to give you support along the way. I'll use the tools that you have and show you the faster way of how you get to implement this with a faster framework. That is basically it. Zero calls and tools, that will be tier 1. Tier 2 will be like, I'll get to give like weekly calls and then tools and pricing lists and swipe files so that you become guided along the way. And then when it comes to tier 3, all I'll get to say that I'll give you full support and I also give you frameworks that will help you to implement this faster. And yeah, that becomes it. Now, up next is anchor your pricing. So this is basically where you get to use different pricing to attract different kinds of buyers. And remember, in the market, you have 3 different types of buyer. Depending on who you want to attract, that is how you get to structure your prices. But just for an example's sake, let's say you have 3 tiers. This is T1, T2, and T3. Yeah? But the most core tier that you want to sell out is T2, that is guided kind of buyers. The way you would anchor your price, you would say, for tier 1, it's going to be free, 0 cost. And then for tier 2 and tier 3, that is now why you bring in this framework of trying to anchor the price so that one tier gets to look cheaper and more affordable than the other. If you want to attract more of tier 3, then make this one very high and then tier 3 kinda close. Yeah, let's say you make this one about $14 and then make this one about $17. That means people are going to opt for tier 3 because of the benefits that get to come with it and then ignore tier 2. But if your example, or if in your case you want to attract or you want to make tier 2 your best core, then it means that if you make the price or you anchor your price of tier 2 to be lower than that of tier 3. So you say tier 3 is going to cost about $99, but tier 2 will cost you about $40. So with this, I've anchored my prices. When clients get to see this, they'll say, oh, this is a free tire. Well, most of them will go for free tires. But the fact that you want to sell your T2, your tier 2, they'll come and say, 99, that seems to be a lot. But 40, yeah, that's an easy, quick price. Then they'll opt in for 40. So depending on which kind of tire you want to sell first, get to price anchor it. And that is it. And then up next is the W, that is write your tire positioning statement. So here's a script that you can get to use on each and every different kind of tire that you get to have. So tier 1, if you want the frameworks and tools to price confidently on your own, get to start here. Tier 2, if you want guided implementation and accountability so that you don't get stuck, then this is for you. Then tier 3, if you want the fastest, most precise outcome with direct access to me, then this is for you. It is our top tier. So I'll be leaving these scripts in my school community. So for those of you who don't know how to access that community, I'll be leaving links in the description and in the pinned comments. So mind checking them out if you want to have access to these scripts. So let's get back into the video. Lastly, on our acronym of doubt is the T. So we get to test out for leaks. And basically with this, you're going to ask yourself 5 key questions. That is, does tier 1 feel accessible? Is tier 2 clearly the best value? Does tier 3 feel premium and justified? Does each tier solve the same outcome in different ways? Is your workload balanced? These are the questions that you get to ask yourself as a solopreneur, as a vendor, as someone who is selling out your services or selling out your offer at a different price. And if you get to answer yes to all these questions, then trust me, you've built yourself a very scalable pricing model. And there you have it. If you want to build yourself one, get to take action of this DOUBT acronym. Now, having a power tire in itself isn't just enough if you really don't know how to sell it. Now, the next step I'm going to show you is how do you get to sell your pricing tire to make it appealing to the final consumer or to make it appealing to your potential prospects. There's a simple framework that you need to take, and it takes a step action of this acronym, which is the DEROD, that is DEROD. So let's break down what each of these gets to mean in detail. So starting off with 1, is you got to diagnose the pain. So this is why you get to hop on a call and probe the prospect that, or what is the kind of pain that you get to have. Yeah. When you understand the kind of pain you get to have, you get to categorize your prospect into one of the three types of buyers. Either they are DIY buyers, whether they are guided buyers, or whether they are ROI buyers. So when it comes to organizing a pain, basically you're trying to look at these three. Are they DIY buyers? Are they guided buyers? Are they ROI buyers? And remember, each of these buyers get to have different kind of needs, get to have different kind of offers. So that will be step one. Now, step two will be get to explain the three tier models. Now, remember, now you know what the kind of buyers they are, then you explain to them the kind of models that they get to have. Yeah. So remember, give me an example. If T1, T2, and T3, these are the kind of buyers you get to have. I mean, types of tires you get to have. Then in your probing, when you were trying to diagnose the pain, you found out they're DIY buyers. So you sell them on the free offer if they're first-time buyers. If they're serious buyers, you sell them on your core offer, yeah, if they're guided buyers. And if they're ROI buyers, you either sell them on your core offer or your premium offer. Yeah. So basically you explain this, that, based on where you are, or given the stage you are at, maybe you need to access our free tier. That is if they want to have clarity. But if they want to have the confidence in them, then you get to sell them on tier 2. But if they want to have that transformation real quick, instantly, and all that, you get to sell them on tier 3, which is tier 3. And then when it comes to R, you get to recommend the core tier as your high value tier. Maybe basically they don't get to understand what kind of tier they will get to need. Then you make a recommendation. Remember, you're into business. What is it that you want to sell most? As an example I gave you, remember here it was a 0 kind of offer, and then this one was a $40 offer, and this was a $99 offer. Try to sell them on whatever one you want to sell them. But personally, I would recommend your core offer because that gets to be high premium. You get to guide the client or your prospect on a step-by-step basis so that they get to gain that much confidence that they get to look out for. Yeah. So you recommend your core tier, that is tier 2, and suggest to them that this is what most people opt for because it is high value, right? Next up is where you get to offer premium. So here's a tip before you get to offer premium. Only offer premium if you sense some level of urgency in their pain. Okay, so they might be like, I really don't have time to do this. I really don't have time to this. And that is why you come in play and you say, for most of my clients that really don't get to have time, I have a tier that gets to, suit them best. And that is tier 3, but it goes for $99. And why that is because they have shown urgency in terms of speed, urgency in terms of timeline, and sometimes they want quick impact. Yeah. So these will be the triggers that will force you or prompt you to offer premium. And then in cases where they lack the clarity, yeah. So you did the probing, explain the models, you've recommended, they say it's too much. Basically, they get to lack the clarity of what it is that they need to have. So instead of you selling them on your core tier, that's where you head onto the last D, which is you downshift to the base. Yeah. So downshift to the T1, where we get clarity. And remember our pyramid tier. Yeah. So it is clarity at the base, confidence at the middle, and then transformation at the top. So because they lack clarity of what it is that they get to do, maybe you sense that from the point where you're diagnosing, then instead of selling them on T3 or T2, just tell them, if you don't know what it is that you want to have, maybe try out our T1. That is where you're going to get access and tools and information that is going to give you proper clarity on what it is that you want to have. And in case you've gained the clarity and you know where exactly you want to get in terms of speed, urgency, or want to be guided, then consider upgrading to either T3 or T2. And that is it. As a gift to you for watching this video up to this point, I'm going to leave you with a follow-up script that you can get to use, especially when it comes to the day road formula. Yeah. So you're going to grab that in My Skool Community. I'll be leaving the link in the description and in the pinned comment.